Looking to find out what's happening on the NDSU campus? Watch Bison Information Network News every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Cable 1 Channel 70. This student-run weekly newscast covers relevant news and current events, entertainment, Bison sports, and more. Watch BIN News Fridays at 9 p.m., Saturdays at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., and Sundays at 9 a.m. on Cable 1 Channel 70.
Bison Information Network News is brought to you in partnership with Cable 1.
Good evening and welcome to Bison Information Network News. Spring commencement is just around the corner and we have some key dates and times that graduating seniors need to know. The commencement ceremony is on May 11th and the time you walk depends on your college. The College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, the College of Engineering, the College of Human Development and Education, and Interdisciplinary Studies will start at 10 a.m. The College of Agriculture, Food Systems, and Natural Resources, the College of Business, the College of Health Professions, and the College of Science and Mathematics will walk at 2 p.m. Fargo's annual electronics recycling event is happening this weekend. On Saturday, May 4th from 8 a.m. to noon, people can bring their old electronics to the solid waste facility at 2301 8th Avenue North. Each person can recycle up to 2 items free of charge, and the event is open to Fargo, West Fargo, and rural Cass County residents. Items that can be recycled include televisions, computers, and other electronics. If you're from the Midwest, you might be familiar with the tragic disappearance of Jacob Wetterling from St. Joseph, Minnesota in 1989. The case remained unsolved for 26 years until Jacob's killer was brought to justice in 2016. That's the focus of the Jacob Wetterling documentary directed by Minnesota filmmaker Chris Newbury. The project, which has worked closely with Jacob's parents, will soon head into post-production after 3.5 years of filming. Now, with hours of raw footage, Newbury has decided to crowdsource additional funds to hire a top-notch editing team to finish up the film. In their first day alone, the GoFundMe campaign raised more than $3,000 of its $60,000 goal. In their effort to spread the word about the film, Chris Newbury and his crew have scheduled a 5-city trailer release tour. It will make its stop in Fargo at Killstone Brewing on May 14th. For details about the documentary and the trailer release party, go to jacobwetterlingfilm.com. And to donate to the campaign, visit gofundme.com/jacobfilm. For the first time since December 14th, the NDSU football team returned to the Fargo Dome for its annual spring game last Friday. Prior to the scrimmage, the players from last year's team received their 2018 FCS championship rings. The team finished with a perfect 15-0 record, with the championship marking the program's 7th in the last 8 seasons and the second undefeated season in that span. Former quarterback Easton Stick was not present at the event as he was with his family in Omaha preparing for the NFL draft. Isaac Dinesen will have more on NDSU's spring game coming up in sports. NDSU is being recognized for its work in cybersecurity. The National Security Agency and the Department of Homeland Security are recognizing NDSU as a National Center of Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense Research. Along with the award, NDSU will have access to resources available through both federal agencies. NDSU was presented with the award on April 24th. And now we'll go to Joe Thompson with our weekend weather update. Joe?
Thanks, Heather. Right now it is about 55 degrees outside with partly cloudy skies. Humidity is at 37% and the wind is currently blowing at 3 miles per hour. Looking outside right now is a really nice day overall with only a few clouds in the sky, much better than the last couple days when we had a lot of rain. But looking into our 7-day forecast, on Friday it's going to be a high of 63 with a low of 43. Saturday is still going to be fairly warm with a high of 57 and a low of 36. Sunday, a high of 54 and a low of 36 as well. Moving into the week, we're going to stay in the low 50s to mid 50s. Monday, a high of 51 with a low of 41. Tuesday, a high of 53 with a low of 38. Wednesday and Thursday, both highs of 55s with the low temperatures in the high 30s to 40 degrees. Back to you, Heather.
Thanks, Joe. Coming up, the Blackboard system changes you need to know about and more information about the KNDS Block Party. We'll be right back. NDSU's college radio station KNDS is hosting their 15th annual block party this weekend. Doors open at 6 p.m. Saturday, May 4th at the Aquarium in downtown Fargo. Despite the venue, the show is all ages. Local artist Walker Ryder is opening the show at 7, and Night Moves, a Minneapolis-based band, is the main act, described as a blend between indie, pop, and folk. Afterward, the aquarium will hold an after party for all attendees.
But it ends up just being this like super fun music, people just coming around listening to it and enjoying themselves, dancing. You know, it's always a lot of fun to just see that, a final product that you worked so much to, attain and then get to.
Didn't quite yet.
Tickets can be purchased for $15 online at ticketweb.com, in person at Orange Records, or at the door before the show. Blackboard at NDSU will be migrating to North Dakota University system this summer. Spring 2019 courses will stay on the current Blackboard system, but summer and fall 2019 courses will only be available on the new system. Students do not need to log into the new system until summer classes begin. Internet Explorer is not a supported browser for the statewide system. Students who have questions or concerns can contact the IT Help Desk at 701-231-8685. Need a stress reliever for finals week? This Friday night, campus attractions will be hosting Pajama Jam, intended for students to relax in comfortable clothes and watch movies. Students are encouraged to come wearing pajamas and bring pillows and blankets, as Mean Girls and 50 First Dates will be shown. Admission is free and food will be provided. The event will take place in the Great Plains Ballroom and will start at 9:30. After the break, we'll hear what Attorney General Barr had to say while testifying before Congress and how the new movie Endgame is making history. Democrats demand Attorney General William Barr's resignation after Special Counsel Robert Mueller's criticized Barr's actions. The Attorney General strongly defended his summary of the Mueller report and his conclusion President Trump did not obstruct justice during the Russia investigation. CNN's Omar Jimenez has more.
Contention on Capitol Hill as Democrats denounce Attorney General Bill Barr's handling of the Russia investigation.
You lied to Congress.
Minutes before Barr's testimony, the Justice Department released a March letter from Special Counsel Robert Mueller. In it, Mueller says Barr's summary of the investigation and conclusion the president did not obstruct justice, quote, did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of this office's work and conclusions.
I decided to simply state what the bottom line conclusions were. Is there a crime or isn't there a crime?
Was there an underlying crime here?
No.
Democrats pounced.
If you received a letter from Bob Mueller a few days after your March 24th letter, it was clear he had some genuine concerns about what you had said and done to that point.
Yeah, his concerns was he wanted more added. I'm not trying to capture everything. I'm just trying to state the verdict.
2016.
Republicans say the focus shouldn't be on Barr or the president, but on protecting future elections.
My takeaway from this report is that we've got a lot of work to do to defend democracy against the Russians and other bad actors.
On Capitol Hill, I'm Omar Jimenez.
This Saturday, the NDSU softball team will be hosting North Dakota's biggest softball tailgate before its first game of 2 on the day against the University of North Dakota. The event will be the first of its kind and will allow alcohol. Fans are allowed to claim up to 2 parking spots in the NQ lot for tailgating while space is available, one intended for a car and the other for tailgating space. Alcohol will only be allowed in the designated lot, as campus rules will remain in effect for surrounding parking lots. Tailgating will open at 9 a.m., 3 hours before the first pitch of Game 1. They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and now there's research supporting the idea that breakfast may have huge benefits for your heart. CNN's James Dinan has more in today's Health Minute.
You might want to think twice about skipping breakfast. Whether you eat breakfast could be linked to a higher risk of dying from heart disease. That's according to a new study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology. Researchers found that people who never eat breakfast had an 87% higher risk of dying from a cardiovascular disease compared with people who start each day with a meal. Researchers say the link was significant and independent of socioeconomic status, body mass index, and cardiovascular risk. The authors say the research provides evidence to that breakfast may in fact be the most important meal of the day. Researchers say the study links skipping breakfast to heart disease risk factors like diabetes, hypertension, and lipid disorders. Experts point out that meal skipping in the study is not the same as practicing intermittent fasting. That's when you cycle between several hours of not eating and then have regular meals in a smaller time window. Some studies suggest intermittent fasting can reduce the risk of obesity and its related diseases such as diabetes and cancer. For today's Health Minute, I'm James Dinan.
According to the latest figures from the World Health Organization, cardiovascular disease, specifically heart disease and stroke, is the leading cause of death in the world. The list of box office records a certain Marvel movie has broken, or rather obliterated, keeps growing. CNN's David Daniel has that and more in the Hollywood Minute.
I know I said no more surprises, but I was really hoping to pull off one last one.
Final weekend numbers are in, and Avengers Endgame made $357 million, nearly $100 million more than the previous mark set by Avengers Infinity War. Both films were shot entirely with IMAX cameras, and that company says Endgame nearly doubled the opening weekend record for IMAX theaters, grossing more than $91 million in the extra-large format.
Join me. We'll die.
Another franchise is gearing up for its next chapter. Warner Brothers says the third Fantastic Beasts film, following up The Crimes of Grindelwald, will hit theaters November 12, 2021. The series about J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World is slated to include 5 movies in all. Production on Chapter 3 is set to begin next spring.
I mean to kill you in 1 minute, Ned, or see you hanged in Fort Smith at Judge Parker's convenience. Which'll it be?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
The Duke rides again. Fathom Events and Turner Classic Movies are honoring the 50th anniversary of True Grit by bringing the classic Western back to theaters. More than 600 U.S. theaters will show John Wayne's Oscar-winning performance on Sunday, May 5th and Wednesday, May 8th. Check fathomevents.com for details. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
When we come back, Isaac Dienison will have our sports update. What do you have for us today, Isaac?
Well, a lot happened last week in the wide world of sports in Fargo, North Dakota. Bison football players were drafted. The Bison women's basketball team has a new coach. Baseball and softball are in action at home as well. We'll have all that and more for you when we come back. With the conclusion of last Friday's spring game, Bison football fans have to wait until August 31st to see the team on the field again. The structure of this year's spring game was mostly similar to last year, with the main difference being the first and second teams of offense and defense all saw the field in a live scrimmage setting. The game did not feature a scoreboard, as much of the event was dedicated to showcasing how the team conducts a regular practice. One of the scrimmage's most notable highlights was quarterback Holden Hotchkiss, as you see here, catching his own pass off a deflection and scoring a touchdown during the red zone drills. This was considered the last of 15 spring practices for the two-time defending champions, who returned 16 seniors from last year's roster that is led by a new coaching staff as Matt Entz took over as head coach in January. The August 31st season opener will be played at Target Field in Minneapolis, and the first game at the Fargo Dome will be on September 7th against the University of North Dakota Fighting Hawks. 7 former Bison football players will get their chance to make NFL rosters this upcoming season. Quarterback Easton Stick was selected in the 5th round by the Los Angeles Chargers, 166th overall, becoming the second consecutive NDSU starting quarterback to be drafted. 3 players were later signed to teams as undrafted free agents, as center Tanner Volson will join Stick in Los Angeles, signing with the Chargers. Defensive back Jalen Allison signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and running back Bruce Anderson will join him as the Ruskin, Florida native returns home. 3 other players were not officially signed but invited to rookie minicamps, as safety Robbie Grimsley, receiver Darius Shepard, and running back Lance Dunn will join the New Orleans Saints, Green Bay Packers, and Los Angeles Rams camps respectively. Teams will be hosting their post-game minicamps as early as this weekend. The NDSU women's basketball program has found its next head coach, former Kansas Jayhawk assistant Jory Collins. Collins is the 11th head coach in program history and the first male coach of the Lady Bison since 1978. He spent just 1 season at the University of Kansas after leading Division II Emporia State's program for 8 years, winning 77% of his games and making the Sweet 16 6 consecutive years. Collins helped recruit the second best class in the Big 12 this past season and is looking forward to his new challenge in Fargo.
North Dakota young lady that can help us win games. We are going to give 100% effort to get her to come be a Bison. And then we're going to move out from there. But recruiting's a relationship business.
NDSU has not had a winning season since the 2009-2010 season and has not won a conference tournament game since 2009. Former NDSU men's basketball forward Deng Gu is transferring to the University of North Texas. He announced his intent to transfer on April 1st and met with 3 schools before deciding on the Mean Green. Gu played 3 seasons with NDSU after redshirting his freshman year and was a key role player during his time in Fargo. Last season was the most productive of his career as he played in all 35 of the team's games, averaging 9.6 points and 4.9 rebounds per game. Gu is eligible to play immediately for North Texas this fall. With the final weekend of the regular season looming, the magic number to clinch the Summit League regular season championship for the Bison softball team is just 1. This means that with either one NDSU victory or one South Dakota loss, the Bison would win its 8th consecutive regular season title. This comes after yet another 3-game sweep where they outscored the Omaha Mavericks by a combined total of 34-1. South Dakota will travel to Brookings for a 3-game series with SDSU starting tomorrow, while the Bison will host the UND Fighting Hawks, starting with a doubleheader on Saturday at noon. The team that wins the conference regular season title gets to host the next year's conference tournament, which NDSU has done every year since 2013. After a loss at home last Friday to Western Illinois, the NDSU baseball team responded in a big way in a doubleheader on Saturday, but not without some late drama. In Game 1, no drama was necessary as the Bison won 7-1 behind 2 runs batted in each from Jack Simonson and Sean Noel. Max Lovin pitched all 9 innings for NDSU, scattering 5 hits to earn his 2nd career victory and the first complete game of his career. As for Game 2, it seemed to be more of the same as the Bison led 8-2 after 5 innings. Simonson had 4 hits in the game and Brock Anderson drove in 3 runs, but the Western Illinois Leathernecks would make a late rally. They scored 4 runs in the 7th inning and 1 in the 9th on an RBI single by Deion Thompson to make it an 8-7 game, but Parker Harms shut the door for NDSU with a strikeout to end the rubber match as they took both games of the doubleheader. From here on out, only home games remain for the Bison in the regular season as they look to ascend in the Summit League standings. They start a 3-game series with first place Omaha at Newman Outdoor Field beginning tomorrow night at 6:30. And finally, here's one last look at what the NDSU track and field teams have been up to as their outdoor regular seasons have ended. For the men's team, Peyton Otterdahl turned in another quality effort last weekend at the Drake Relays in Des Moines. He finished 2nd in the shot put event as the defending Olympic champion was the only competitor to do better, and Alex Talley now ranks 3rd in NDSU history in the hammer throw after last weekend, 25th in the nation this year. On the women's side, Amy Harrington won the hammer throw event in Des Moines, and a quartet of Bison set a school record for the fastest shuttle hurdle time in history. Their attention now shifts to the upcoming Summit League Championships, where both teams have combined for the last 20 conference titles. And if some of these stories from this past week have taught any of us here at all, it's that NDSU is quite a special place to be an athlete. Bison football players being drafted, new opportunities abound, and excellence as well across a lot of these programs.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Isaac. Coming up after the break, we'll have some helpful studying tips for finals in this week's Bison on the Street. With the end of Dead Week getting closer and closer, it can only mean one thing. Finals week is ready to go. Bison Information Network reporter Joe Thompson asked students for their best Finals Week study tips in this week's Bison on the Street.
It's helpful to, use different colored inks to change your sections so that it's easier to glance over.
Turn off the technology, turn off the Netflix, minimize friendship interactions, because group studying is typically a huge reason why people can't stay focused.
Don't procrastinate. Get it done right away. It'll help in the long run.
My best study tip for finals week has to be just studying a lot and repetition. The more and more you repeat things, the better and better you remember them.
Definitely study before finals week. That definitely helps me a lot.
Spread out your workload over the course of the week. Start now if your test is next Thursday.
Keeping away the distractions, staying away from your phone. Also probably staying focused all the time and planning ahead of time.
This edition of Bison Information Network News.
We would like to thank our graduating seniors, Gabby Hirsch and Noah Smith.
Come on up here. We'd like to congratulate you on your graduation. We'd like to thank you so much for all the work you do here for this network, and good luck to you as well on your future endeavors.
Have a great night, everyone.